Okay, hey guys, and welcome back to 234 in La Casa. So, I wanted to do a little short video. I had a viewer that made a comment um, asking about hot water cornbread. So, this is kind of a follow up to the hot water cornbread cooking tutorial that I just did earlier today, and I used yellow meal, and I will do another cooking tutorial for you guys with white meal. And white meal is a little bit more fine than yellow meal, so making the hot water cornbread with white meal is just a little bit different. But I'm gonna do a video with that. But just to address the viewers' question, which was what is hot water cornbread, and I'm so glad that someone asked, because I was operating under the assumption that everyone kind of knew what it is, and that's my fault. I take full accountability for that. I should not have assumed that everybody would know what that is. And so hot water cornbread came from the South, and stems, some places say that it stems from Native Americans, and some others say that it stems from slavery, because we were given rations or portions of cornmeal, and what we did was pour hot water on it and fry it and make hot water cornbread out of that as like a side dish. And it was really popular during the Depression era in the South. When there just wasn't, we had an economic issue here in the United States. And so it is something that is made here in the US. And I grew up eating it. My dad, who's 83 years old, he's the one that would make it for us when we were kids, along with my mother. My grandmother on my mother's side, she made it. Of course, she transitioned before I was born. And then my grandmother and my aunts and everything on my dad's side, they all made it. But like I said, it is made with cornmeal, hot water, and that is it. And now later on over the years, other things were introduced to place inside of it, like baking powder, try to make it fluffier and all that kind of stuff. But that is not how it was initially made. It was made with cornmeal and hot water and fried. We add salt to it just to give it a little bit more of a taste. Because it's very plain. But hot water cornbread, you don't use Jiffy Mix with it. You don't use Martha White muffin mix in order to make it. You're just going to use the very plain cornmeal with nothing in it. And that cornmeal is found in the grocery store. Aunt Jemima, or now Pearl Milling Company, has a white cornmeal and a yellow cornmeal. You will also see that Pearl Milling has a white cornmeal mix, and that's not what you use. The white cornmeal mix it's got a self-rising additive added to it. You're not going to get any self-rising cornmeal. It's just plain cornmeal. And I use Aunt Jemima / Pearl Milling. That's what I grew up on. But you don't necessarily have to use that. As long as it's just a plain cornmeal, not a mix, not a self-rising, then you can make hot water cornbread. And like I said, that has roots back to slavery. Slavery here in the United States, where slaves, we were given things, and we would make, they would make something out of nothing. They had to survive. And so that's where it comes from. As far as I know, the Native American end of it, I have not researched and I've read about the Native American supposed roots with Native Americans, and that may be valid. I'm not saying that it's not. I just know that the slavery component here in the United States for hot water cornbread, that is valid. And also, the resurgence of it during the Great Depression, meaning it was still in existence, people were still making it, but there was a large resurgence during the of hot water cornbread during the Great Depression, because we had an economic issue here in the United States, and so it was a cheap staple that people could use, as a side with their food. It was cheaper than bread during that time. So, but anyway, I appreciate that comment so much, and I will start to really consider the fact that there are some things that I may make that people do have never even heard of and are totally not familiar with. And so I again, and the viewer wasn't complaining; they were just asking a question, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. People, don't know what this is. And so, anyway, I appreciate that so much. And the reason why I mean, it made me get up and make a video about it. That's how much I appreciated it. Anyway, and like I said, I love you all's comments. I really, really do. And I hope that this helps people to understand the meaning, the significance of hot water cornbread. It means so much to me. We would have it when I would go to my aunt's down in the deep South. With every meal, not breakfast, but with every meal, every dinner, we had hot water cornbread. It was a staple. We had it with everything, kind of like frijoles with Latin America, but with frijoles is you have it for lunch, you have it for dinner, you have it for breakfast in a lot of the Central American countries and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a staple like that in the deep South, at least when I was growing up. And I'm sure my dad would say the same thing. They had hot water cornbread, and it was what they had. It's beans and cornbread, greens and cornbread. So anyway, all right, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all real soon. Take care.